Here's something wild. Modern aircraft have to stop hundreds of thousands of pounds moving at 150 miles per hour in the length of about 20 football fields. And they do it thousands of times a day with incredible precision.
That's fascinating when you think about the physics involved. The runway overrun prevention system makes this possible by essentially acting as an incredibly sophisticated emergency brake system.
What makes it really interesting is how they've split it into two distinct parts. Runway overrun warning for approach and runway overrun prevention system for ground operations. The system activates automatically at 400 feet above ground level, which gives you an idea of just how critical those final moments of flight are.
Let me ask you something that's been puzzling me. Why do pilots only have two options for runway conditions, either wet or dry, when there are so many other possibilities like snow or ice?
Well, it's actually a brilliant piece of systems design. By simplifying complex conditions into just two categories, they've made it possible for pilots to make split-second decisions without getting bogged down in details. Even if there's snow or slush on the runway, it all gets classified as wet for the system's calculations.
That makes so much sense from a human factors perspective. And I imagine those warnings must be pretty dramatic when they do come.
Oh, they absolutely are. When you get below 200 feet and the system starts shouting runway too short, it's not being subtle. And here's what's fascinating. Studies have shown that using specific verbal commands in high-stress situations leads to better response times than just visual warnings.
You know what really catches my attention? The way the system handles the actual landing roll. Those brake max braking calls must really get your attention in the cockpit.
And there's good reason for that intensity. At landing speeds, every second of delay in applying maximum braking can add hundreds of feet to your stopping distance. The physics of it are pretty incredible. You're managing aerodynamic drag, mechanical braking, and reverse thrust all at once.
That's really interesting about the multiple forces at work. But I've heard there's actually a danger in using too much reverse thrust at low speeds.
Exactly right. And here's why. When you're moving slowly, the reversed engine thrust can actually cause the hot exhaust gases to be re-ingested into the engine, potentially causing stalling or dangerous temperature spikes. It's similar to how a car engine can stall if you try to brake too aggressively at low speeds.
The complexity of managing all these systems must be incredible, especially in challenging conditions.
You know what makes it even more complex? The system knows the exact runway length from its database, but it can't account for things like taxiways or other airport features. So pilots still need to maintain that crucial situational awareness. It's like having a super advanced GPS that knows the roads but can't see the traffic.
That really highlights how these systems are meant to enhance rather than replace human judgment.
Absolutely right. And here's a perfect example. Even if the system isn't giving any warnings, pilots are still required to monitor their approach stability and go around if something doesn't feel right. The technology is there to support decision-making, not to make the decisions.
So it's really about creating layers of safety rather than a single solution.
Precisely, and what's particularly clever is how they've integrated these layers. You've got visual warnings on the displays, verbal commands for immediate action, and different trigger points based on speed and position. Each layer is designed to catch specific types of potential problems before they become actual problems.
Looking toward the future, how do you see these systems evolving?
Well, the next generation of these systems will likely incorporate real-time runway condition monitoring and maybe even artificial intelligence to predict stopping performance. But the key will always be maintaining that balance between automation and human control. After all, the most sophisticated computer can't replace the judgment of an experienced pilot.
That's such an important point about balance. These systems are really about augmenting human capability rather than replacing it.
And that's really the key takeaway here. Modern aviation safety isn't about removing human decision-making from the equation. It's about giving pilots better tools to make those decisions. When you look at how accident rates have declined since these systems were introduced, it's clear that this approach works.